Back to this morning's top story, and a state of emergency has been declared in Hawaii as wildfires continue to burn, forcing thousands to evacuate on the island of Maui. Well, Richie Olsten is Director of Operations at Air Maui Helicopter Tours. Richard, great to talk to you this morning, but, on a really difficult story. Just tell us what the last few days have been like.
Well, it was pretty crazy. We were having high winds on Monday and Tuesday, and then some fires broke out on the Haleakala, and then some broke out in Lahaina. And in the evening news, we were watching, and we saw some fires, but we didn't think, we didn't know the extent of the damage. So early in the morning, we took off in the helicopter and to see what the damage was, to see what help that we could do with our company to aid the citizens. And we were totally shocked at what we saw. We did not expect to see the extent of destruction of Lahaina. Basically, the whole Front Street of Lahaina town, all the shops, the historical buildings and everything are burnt right to the ground. Even boats in the harbor were burned right down to the water line. So there's hundreds of people homeless. There's still no power in that whole town. People can't get access to food because there's no power, and the stores are all closed or burned down to the ground. So it was just an absolute heart-wrenching sight to see that this morning.
You were going up there because you thought you might be able to help. I mean, what could you potentially do? You must feel really powerless.
Well, initially, like I said, we wanted to fly over there to see how much damage there was, and so we could let the public know on the other side of the island, because the majority of the population lives on the other side of the mountain, and nobody had yet seen the damage. So we wanted to, once we saw it, of course, we aired it right away, so the citizens of Maui, the residents, could help those people over there. So they've been brought to this other side of the island, and they've been put up in churches and shelters and so forth, and been provided with food and water, because they have no food on that side of the island at all now because of the burned down stores and not having electricity. So that was our main objective, was to let the rest of the island know and see the extent of the damage, so they would start helping the other people there that are in such need at this time.
And how many people do you think are on that side of the island who, as you say, have no power and no food?
The population on that side is about 12,000 in that area. And the really sad part about it, too, is, of course, the loss of the historical buildings on Front Street that can't be rebuilt because now the buildings are gone. So that whole area you're looking at right now is just leveled to the ground. And all the resort shops and businesses there are all gone. So not only are the people homeless, they're, the places that they worked at no longer exist. It's just been absolutely devastating. In my 52 years of flying on Maui, I've never seen anything even close to this in my entire life.
As we look at these buildings, I mean, tell us a little bit about this area. Is it a mainly tourist area? Yes, obviously there are people living there, but is that where it makes its money from? People coming to see this beautiful coastline and these lovely historic towns.
That's right. Lahaina used to be the capital of Hawaii in the monarch days, and so it's a very historic area, and that is been the driving force of tourism on the island of Maui, the town of Lahaina. So it's just devastating to the entire island, not just to the people that live there, and even to the economy of the state.
And finally, Richie, I mean, have you had many wildfires there before? This must be an issue that you've had to battle with in the past.
Yeah, we've had wildfires. We have them every year. They're up in the mountains and the dry fields where there aren't any homes and so forth. But we've never had anything like this where it was burning, dozens, hundreds of residences. There's hundreds of homes that have been burnt down to the ground on the island. And the combination of those high winds made it so difficult for the fire department to fight the fires, because the ignited debris was flying up in the air and traveling great distances to set new fires.
Richie Olsten, Director of Operations at Air Maui Helicopter Tours. Good to talk to you today, and thanks for sharing those images with us.